Well, it's been a while since the first part, and now with Mario Kart World on the horizon, I've got more of an incentive to finish this tier list once and for all. In the first part, I went over the base game tracks of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, putting them where I felt they belonged on the tier list based off of my personal opinion and nothing else. Now we have basically a second game's worth of tracks to go through, and I can assure you, this list is gonna get a lot more dynamic than in the last video. But once more, before we get into it, I've got to do that thing I don't normally do with my videos. First off, I'd like to direct your attention to that like button, and hopefully, watch as it lights up when I say, smash that like button. Hopefully it did, which is kinda cool. Alongside that, please subscribe and hit the bell icon so you don't miss an upload as well as when I go live. Also, leave a comment with your favorite and least favorite DLC track, and why. Now, let's get back to the tracks. Paris Promenade. Okay, this is gonna be a running bit with this entire video, so it's a good thing that we can get this out of the way right out of the gate. I hate the tour courses. While aesthetically pleasing to look at and very well detailed, Paris Promenade, like all the other tour courses, fails to differentiate itself from any other course. With a flat, boring track initially designed for phones, it has nothing to challenge a console racer. Looping back onto itself and causing racers to run the track backwards on the last lap isn't even enough to impress me. D tier. And this area is gonna get pretty full by the end of the video. Believe that. Toad Circuit. Another tutorial course? Seriously, the 3DS had plenty other tracks to pick from that would have left a better impression on players than this course. I don't have much to say about this one. Not only is it just another beginner course, but it's also a boring one-to-one remake that doesn't do anything new or exciting with the tools available. Another D tier course. This DLC is off to a rough start. Choco Mountain. Finally, now we're getting somewhere. One of the most winding courses from the N64, Choco Mountain does just enough to improve itself from that time. With a simple glide section, falling boulders, and hills to trick off of, Choco Mountain does what it needs to do to earn a spot in B tier. Coconut Mall. Get in, losers, we're going shopping. A fan favorite course that, despite having no substantial updates, it still holds up strong. Plenty of sharp turns, jumps, and obstacles to navigate make this trip to the mall a memorable trip every time. Its memeable status does feel earned at the end of the day, if my streams are anything to go off of. I feel safe putting Coconut Mall in S tier for that. Tokyo Blur. It's a tour course. You know where this is gonna go. Just like Paris Promenade, there isn't anything that sets this course apart from anything else in the game. It's just flat, simple, and boring. And with more and more tour courses to go, I don't think Nintendo put these courses in to please fans, but rather to recoup costs from tour itself. Just saying. D tier. Shroom Ridge. This is basically what Toad's Turnpike could have been. A bright and scenic traffic course that has racers winding their way through a canyon road, dodging traffic and drifting around sharp turns. With a wonderful mushroom shortcut that has you leave the track briefly to take flight over the edge, Shroom Ridge is what I look for in a traffic course. Take notes, Toad's Turnpike. This is how you get into A tier. Sky Garden. What is it with this course and me? While not being a tour course, somehow this course just infuriates me. Design-wise, it's not bad. It differentiates itself enough from its GBA version to make it stand out. A good number of winding turns also make it not so easy of a track either, so what gives? I don't know why, but when I race on this track, I just can't seem to do good against my community, and it's just this track. So to keep things balanced and stuff, I'm just gonna slot this course into C tier. Ninja Hideaway. A nighttime test of racing skill as you navigate a dojo full of tricks, traps, and jumps. Hideaway has a serious number of sharp turns and multiple layers to travel across, each presenting different challenges for the racer to conquer as they vie for first place. Just make sure to maintain control or you'll be flying off the edge in no time, a problem that is definitely true for 200cc. A fun challenge to be had, one that I can understand being put into A tier. New York Minute. A tour course. You know it's going to be ranked low. And it's New York Minute that really shows one of my biggest gripes with the tour courses. The curbs. These curbs in any other track wouldn't be an issue. You'd expect to just roll over them and keep going, but nope! It might as well be a wall for all that it does. As a city track as well, it doesn't do much to separate itself from other city tracks, with the buildings just kinda looking plain. Oh, and the course isn't challenging whatsoever. D tier. But there's a creeping problem that will only grow worse as we go. Mario Circuit 3. Oh boy, another Mario Circuit. Seriously, how many of these are we gonna be getting? It's gotten to the point where I don't even refer to this track by name, but just call it Spark Plug, because the course itself looks like a spark plug. Absolutely nothing to say about this track. It's the exact same as it was on the SNES. So because of that, it's going straight into D tier. Calamari Desert. Oh, this brings back memories. One of my personal favorites from the N64 era. Calamari Desert maintains just enough to work perfectly in this game, while changing just enough to make it feel fresh. For once, the train track becomes part of the racetrack itself, having racers run headlong toward the train as it rumbles down the track. And it would have been a perfect course if it had done one thing that only Calamari Desert has ever done in any Mario Kart game. Force the racers to stop. One of the most memorable things about N64 Calamari Desert was that the train was positioned just enough at the start that by the time the racers reached the crossing, the train was already passing by, blocking the road and forcing the entire race to grind to a halt. This didn't just happen once, it could happen twice. This presented a gamble for the racers. Do you attempt to beat the train, or safely wait? Tough choices to make that could pay off immensely, or cost you the race. If that gimmick had returned to Calamari Desert, it would have been perfect. But since it didn't, I can only put Calamari Desert into S tier. Waluigi Pinball. Okay, any fan worth their salt knows what I'm going to say here. And it shouldn't be a shock if you attended even just one Reactin' in Racing. This track is perfect in every sense of the word. It's bright, it's colorful, it's dynamic. The pinball theme fits wonderfully as a racetrack. Many twisting turns and pinballs, bumpers, and flippers to dodge keep racers entertained and challenged throughout the course.
But this course doesn't do anything new with the tools it has at its disposal.
Exactly.
Waluigi Pinball was perfect on the DS, and it still remains perfect here in Deluxe. This is a hill I will confidently die on and be buried 6 feet under. There is no convincing me otherwise. Waluigi Pinball is peak. And for the first time on this list, we have an SS course. If you believe there's a course better than Waluigi Pinball, leave a comment down below, where I will tell you you're wrong because I said so. Sydney Sprint. From dizzying highs to depressing lows, we go from the best to one of the worst. It's a tour course. What else would you expect? More of the same problems as the last ones. Granted, Sydney Sprint has a lot more jumps to trick off of, but if that's all the praise I can give it, then that's still not good. It's just long stretches of nothing challenging. To D tier with you, just like the rest of them. Oh, and that overall design problem is reaching its breaking point. One more should do it. Snowland. Bland name for an overall bland course. It's one of those GBA tracks that doesn't do much different from its original version. Sure, there's some raised track here and there, but you couldn't do an underwater section, glide section, no anti-gravity anywhere? Shame. Guess you'll just have to sit in D tier and think about what you've done, which is nothing. Mushroom Gorge. One of my personal favorites from the Wii era. Mushroom Gorge is a bright, colorful, and bouncy track with a boppin' soundtrack to match it. And for the expert racers, of which I am not, there's one hell of a shortcut to take if you're daring enough. Though despite having just one mushroom that causes a gliding section in the cave, nothing else has really changed since then. However, I don't think there's gonna be any problems if I put Mushroom Gorge in A tier, right? Sky High Sunday. We're getting frosty up here with one of the more colorful courses in the DLC. Not as colorful as Waluigi Pinball, but whatever. There are so many trick jumps in this course, it's almost like you're constantly boosting through the entire track, which is a pretty fast-paced sprint to the finish line. With almost no walls to speak of, it's very important to make sure this speed doesn't send you flying off the track. It's a pretty simple track, all things concerned, but that simplicity keeps it from going any higher than B tier. B for Bucket of Ice Cream. London Loop. And now we're getting to it. Same critiques as the rest. Boring, bland, stupid curbs. But now I want to harp on the tour track designs and its major flaw. The pathing. The tour courses all function similar to a rally race like Big Blue and Mount Wario, in that you don't really have laps, but instead checkpoints. Tour tracks have racers tackle different design sections of the overall track with each checkpoint in an attempt to add variety. However, this makes certain items' effectiveness rendered moot and trap laying for racers ahead of you impossible. That guy in first isn't going to hit your banana when he loops back around, because the track physically won't allow it. This is the design flaw of the tour courses, and one of the major reasons why I disdain them so greatly. So with that out of the way, D tier, like always. Boo Lake. One of them spooky tracks. Despite it having a pretty bland and simple name, this isn't one of those bland and simple GBA tracks. Raised sections and underwater portions add enough variety to make this version stand out from the others. There really isn't much else to say about it though. It's a pretty straightforward course. Simply C tier will suffice. Rock Mountain. This is what I'd consider Choco Mountain to be like if it wasn't so confined. A mountainous course with a twisting tunnel, large glide sections, a charge up the mountain, and one hell of a shortcut if you have enough mushrooms. This track gives players different choices with how they wish to tackle it, with the aforementioned shortcut being quite the gamble, but boy howdy does it pay off when it works. With its changing scenery and verticality, Rock Mountain definitely earns a place in A tier. Maple Treeway. The most Canadian course in the entire game, and that's saying something when there is an actual course set in Canada. Maple Treeway strikes a chord with me personally, since my favorite color is orange, and there's so much orange in this course. Racing through the autumn forest and zipping through the treetops, all the while a very cozy song plays as you get green-shelled into oblivion. This is the definition of a scenic course. Beautiful in every sense of the word. It's this beauty that nets it a spot in S tier. Berlin Byways. It's a tour course, We're beating this dead horse so much, and it isn't gonna stop anytime soon, because we still have more to go through. The byways really show just how bad the curbs are on these tracks, and there isn't any more that needs to be said that hasn't already been said. So now for the rest of the tour courses, in order to pad out the video and make use of the footage that I already recorded, I'm just gonna start reading off fun facts about random stuff instead. By the way, the byways go straight into D tier, as if it should surprise anybody at this point. Peach Gardens. One of them scenic DS courses that I remember fondly. Everything in this course is exactly how it was on the DS. Plenty of sharp and winding turns, a few mushroom shortcuts here and there, the chain jump and moles make for good obstacles. It's exactly how I remember it. That is until you hit the final lap, and Peach Gardens pulls out a twist. The track organically reverses and has racers traversing the entire track backwards, which now includes a glide ramp through the hedge portion. It's changes like this that breathe new life into these old tracks, and Peach Gardens pulls it off perfectly. For that, I'm putting it into S tier. It deserves it. Merry Mountain. This is a seasonal one. For 11 months out of the year, I do everything in my power to not race on this track. I'm one of those guys that can't stand Christmas music during any time other than Thanksgiving and into the Christmas season. This rule applies for Merry Mountain. So for the month of December, this course is amazing. It's perfect for getting into the holiday spirit. Without a doubt, this one is easily the most festive course in the entire game, but its seasonal nature is a big problem. It's because of that small window of acceptability, I can only put Merry Mountain in B tier. Rainbow Road 3DS. We're going to the only place where a bad tier placement can't reach us.
Space!
Borrowing heavy inspiration from Super Mario Galaxy, this Rainbow Road has you shooting to the stars, orbiting planets, and bouncing across craters as you race through space. And with the track's surface constantly moving backwards underneath you, you get the sense that you're moving a lot faster than you actually are, which did take some time for me to adjust to, but now it's a nice design touch. While still nowhere near the level of perfection that was DS Rainbow Road, it's still a really good course. I've got no problem with putting this Rainbow Road up in S tier. S for
Space!
Amsterdam Drift. The real name for a hashtag is an octothorpe. The tiny pocket in jeans was designed to store pocket watches. The first person processed at Ellis Island was a 15-year-old girl from Ireland. Allodoxophobia is the fear of other people's opinions. The shortest war in history, the Anglo-Zanzibar War, lasted 38 minutes. Animals can also be allergic to humans. An ostrich's eye is bigger than its brain. The longest English word is 189,819 letters long. Japan has one vending machine for every 40 people. It's illegal to own only one guinea pig in Switzerland. D tier. Riverside Park. Having never played the GBA version of Mario Kart, most of these newer GBA tracks are completely foreign to me. So having no prior knowledge of Riverside Park going in, it's a pretty decent course. I can tell just by its design that it didn't stray too far from its original, but that doesn't detract from both its atmosphere and overall design. From the twisting turns to the walking piranha plants, this simple track does provide some challenge. This trip through the park earns itself a place in B tier. DK Summit. This could be considered DK Mountain in the winter with how much is the same, but I consider this a good thing. With its own cannon shot to the mountain and a downward journey through the rest of the track, there are so many jumps to hit and boosts to use. And for the experts, there is not one, but 2 chasms to jump over and gain a significant lead if you hit them just right. This is just a great track based off of another great track, and for that, it deserves a spot in S tier. Yoshi's Island. Oh boy, this one is just too good. Designed entirely off of the game of the same name, Yoshi's Island has everything I need to remember simpler times. The score, the colors, the sounds, everything just brings me back to playing Yoshi's Island on the SNES as a kid. While the overall track itself is pretty simple by design, but challenging enough to still be interesting, it's this personal connection that I have that puts this track above the others. I can't help but be happy when this track is picked, and I feel like a kid again when I race on it. For this nostalgia trip, Yoshi's Island goes right up there with Waluigi Pinball in double S tier. Bangkok Rush. Avocados are actually fruits, not vegetables, which actually don't exist. The Paris catacombs contain the remains of over 6 million people. Besides water, tea is the most popular beverage worldwide. A chicken once lived for 18 months without its head. Approximately 1/4 of the bones in your body are in your feet. It's impossible to hum while holding your nose. The human circulatory system is more than 60,000 miles long. There are gnomes that live under your house that come out at night and move the TV remote to mess with you specifically. D tier. Mario Circuit DS. My memories of this track aren't the greatest, because I was just about to write this course off as another needless tutorial course. However, Mario Circuit, of which there are now 3 in this game, I think, is just about as simple as any other tutorial course. Big wide tracks, simple turns, easy obstacles, and one singular jump. There is just nothing about this course that makes it stand out. You do have a few mushroom shortcuts to utilize, but that's it. C tier. At the best for this one. Waluigi Stadium. Waluigi seems to get all the banger courses. First pinball, now stadium. Full of winding turns, regular and half-pipe jumps, flaming rings, and an upper deck portion adds so much to this course. Even more than what Double Dash gave it. This is one of those textbook examples of an amazing upgrade, and the intensity throughout the course keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole way through. This is an easy S tier, no question about it. Singapore Speedway. Honey does not spoil. Winds on Neptune can blow faster than 1,200 miles an hour. The oldest living animal on Earth is a 192-year-old tortoise named Jonathan. I was once sick for my entire Christmas break in 2003. A group of owls is called a parliament. 90% of the world's population lives in the northern hemisphere. The hardest bone in the human body is the femur. Lemons float in water, but limes sink. There's an anime about a guy who has to maintain a boner for a certain length of time or else he loses his house. D tier. Athens Dash. Competitive art used to be an Olympic sport. Human teeth are the only part of the body that cannot heal themselves. It rains mustard every 7th Thursday in Harrison, Montana. It would take 19 minutes to fall to the center of the earth. People once ate arsenic to improve their skin. Wives now use arsenic to kill their husbands for their life insurance money. The Pope can't be an organ donor. The world's longest concert lasted 453 hours, which is roughly almost 19 days. I think I'm slowly losing my sanity when it comes to writing this stuff for the tour courses. D tier. Daisy Cruiser. We're on a boat, and for me specifically, I'm driving a boat on a boat. As for the course itself, while it's still a good overall track that takes you through all aspects of this luxury cruise liner, there isn't anything different from its original Double Dash version. And we know what happens to good courses that don't improve when they easily could. That's right, C tier. Moonview Highway. Nighttime on the highway. This is what I would consider to be the peak city course in all of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Twisting turns full of boost pads and oncoming traffic. There is a lot going on with this course. Even to this day, I still find myself sometimes running headlong into a car coming around a sharp bend. Moonview takes what Toad's Turnpike tried and succeeds on every front. For this, we can all agree on putting Moonview Highway in S tier. Squeaky Clean Sprint. It's toilet time. Now with the bathroom covered and Ribbon Road essentially a kid's room, we need a living room and the kitchen. Then we'll have the whole house covered. This track takes you through every aspect of the average bathroom. The sink, the bathtub, the toilet, everywhere. Racing through the drain pipe is especially fun due to the speed boost you get from the current. And the air boost from the bidet toilet is not lost on me. It's a great use of the bathroom theme, and like I said, we just need the full house circuit to happen for Mario Kart World now, which in hindsight isn't going to happen because of the whole world theme, but you get my point. As for Squeaky Clean Sprint itself, A tier seems like a good fit. Los Angeles Laps. If you double cook a pizza, it will end up being frozen again, because everything comes full circle. Julius Caesar is the inventor of the Caesar salad. The moon landing isn't fake. We sent the film crew there to shoot on location. Ohio is a myth. Mermaids and sirens are considered regional variants. Cats are the only living organism on Earth that can exist in all three states of matter, though it is theorized that they can achieve a plasma state. Mirrors are portals to another world, but the version of you on the other side keeps blocking you from crossing over. D tier. Sunset Wilds. We got another Wild West themed course, but unlike Calamari Desert, this one is boring. It's another GBA track that doesn't do anything new. It's just flat, bland, and nothing else. You've got a few jumps here and there, some boost pads scattered around, but there just isn't anything else here to excite racers. GBA tracks really are hit or miss with this game, aren't they? D tier with you. Koopa Cape. This is one that I have mixed feelings about, mainly because it just didn't translate over well to Deluxe. While it is a faithful adaptation to its original version, which was amazing in its own right, the underwater pipe section just doesn't hit the same way as before. For some reason, the half pipes in this section just don't work right, either not allowing racers to hit them properly or sending them straight into the wall to get stuck on. Aside from that, the rest of the track is great. It's fun and energetic, and that's what I want from a good course. So despite its glaring problem, I'm going to put Koopa Cape in A tier. Vancouver Velocity. This is the only good one, despite it still having the same problems. There's an exception to every rule, but the stink of Tor won't get it any higher than C tier. Rome Avanti. Okay, a quick break from the nonsense that I've been doing with the tour courses lately. I've just got to get this off my chest. I genuinely hate this track. You want to talk about a poorly designed course, Rome Avanti is exactly that. All the major problems with the tour courses are present here, and they somehow are even worse. The curbs are everywhere. The layout is a mess. The winding, looping nature of the track scrambles the brain and makes trap items useless. Sometimes it's impossible to tell which section of the track you're supposed to be on, only to find out when Lakitu is pulling you back on track. Rome Avanti made every single bad choice when it came to making an acceptable Mario track. And to think better courses like Toad Factory, DS Rainbow Road, and so many others were passed by to let this dumpster fire in, it's for all these reasons that Aroma Avanti will be the only F-tier course on this list. This track is bad, and it should feel bad. DK Mountain, one of the OG classics from Double Dash. That cannon shot up to the mountain is iconic. Nostalgia runs throughout this entire course, and newcomers should find this track just fun overall. And for the experts, that gap jump towards the end is too tempting not to take. I honestly can't race now without taking the jump. There are just so many memories of racing on this track in Double Dash with my brother that I can't not have fun with it. Easily S tier. Daisy Circuit, the course that launched the Luigi Daisy ship. Here we have yet another Wii course that just doesn't do anything new. Sure, the Mushroom Shortcut now has a glide section, but that's it. I'm not asking for drastic changes, but maybe a ramp or two here or there would work. But despite this, Daisy Circuit is still a decent course. There wasn't anything wrong with it on the Wii, and technically there isn't anything wrong with it here. It's not great. It's not bad either. B tier seems like a good fit. Piranha Plant Cove. This one rubs me the wrong way. While it's not a quote-unquote tour course in the literal sense, it still has the major hallmark of a tour course. That being its meandering, looping design. However, its overall design and aesthetics set it apart from the tour courses. The variety of terrain that's on display makes the track a lot more interesting, but as a primarily underwater track, that's another problem for me specifically. PP Cove has a lot of good and bad going for it, and for that it only seems fair to place it in B tier. Madrid Drive. D tier. Rosalina's Ice World. An ice track that does a lot to set itself apart from the other ice-themed tracks. You would think with it being a Rosalina track that it would be set in space, but Rosalina does make for a good ice queen as well. With some tough turns, sheer drops, and plenty of boosts to work with, I consider this one to be the toughest ice track in the game. A truly chilly challenge to be had. One that deserves its place in A tier. Bowser Castle 3. Even a SNES version of Bowser's Castle somehow ends up peak. The music hits hard, the track is full of jumps to trick off of, there's a 45-degree zero-G incline on a lava fall. This track just does everything right. This is how you update a SNES course with modern Mario Kart innovations. This is how you do it. S tier, where it rightfully belongs. Rainbow Road Wii. And at long last, we finally reached the end. And what better track to end on than the inferior Rainbow Road? I kid, I jest, I joke. Wii Rainbow Road is really good. It's just not DS Rainbow Road, which I'm still salty about not getting picked. As for Wii Rainbow Road itself, plenty of jumps, sharp turns, and a few quick shortcuts if you hit the jumps just right. It's an excellent way to cap off the DLC tracks. With so many great Rainbow Roads under our belt in this game, we can only imagine how Mario Kart World's Rainbow Road will go. Only time will tell. As for Weibo Road, we can all agree that this goes straight into S tier. And with that, the tier list has been completed. This took so much longer than I had anticipated, but it was well worth it. Thank you one and all for sticking around for the duration. In the meantime, leave a comment below with your favorite and least favorite track in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. I'm curious about what you come up with. So with that being said, I'll see you guys when I see you guys, and as always, toodles.
Spikes!